Hello, everyone. I'm Lauren,
And I'm Ratika.
and this is Targum Tea, a podcast which focuses on pop culture reviews and social media. In today's episode, we'll be talking about Ariana Grande's latest album, Positions.
Ariana Grande is one of the biggest female pop stars on the planet, and she just released her new album, Positions, on October 30th, 2020.
This is her sixth studio album. Personally, I love it. Do you love it?
Yeah, I mean, it took me like a couple listens for it to grow on me, but I like a lot of the songs on the album.
I think it really shows off her range and her signature style, which has really changed since she started putting out music back in, I want to say 2012 or 2013. Yeah. So it's been a while. She definitely started out with like bubblegum pop, and I feel like a very innocent sound. And now she's gotten very mature. And I think she's kept it classy. It's been like a classy evolution.
Yeah, I agree. I think she really like honed in on her R&B sound because like when she first started out, it was very like pop, like you said, bubblegum pop. But I feel like her evolution has really shown like how much she's matured and grown in her life, in her music, and in her journey.
Exactly. And I think what's so unique about her music is her range and just her voice. I feel like she's created her own style. My favorite thing about her is that her sound is inimitable. Unless anyone can sing like her, you just can't. And I think that's so cool because a lot of pop music these days just sounds the same, at least to me. And I feel like Ariana Grande really stands out with that.
Yeah, I think she's like one of like the biggest vocalists like in our generation. And she has like a signature voice that like, I've seen like on social media people trying to like imitate her voice and whatever. So like she's definitely made like her trademark on that.
So then diving into her album, what would you say is the theme of Positions?
I would say it's like more of healing from her past journey and like finding peace, but like as well as like sexual intimacy, which she's like always been unapologetic about.
I feel like it's a lot of kind of like liberation, like as a woman and also like sexually. I feel like there's a lot of topics that she touches on in this album that she never has before, if that makes sense. And especially not like this means it's more mature, but even just saying like more bad words or taboo things, back in 2013, she would never. So I think that's a lot of growth, which I think the theme with a lot of female musicians now are kind of like crossing that barrier into making music about things that typically only men have, if you're kind of catching my drift.
Yeah. No, I think they've definitely been more vocal about like their own experiences and like topics that aren't really comfortable talking about. So I think like she's an example of that. Like she's never been afraid to really talk about like what she's been through, like with her anxiety and like in her past relationships. And I feel like that's like exemplified by like songs like Just Like Magic and POV. Yeah.
I think a lot of the songs it's really her. It's very true to herself. I remember in an interview she was saying her very first single ever, Put Your Hearts Up. I don't know if you remember that. She hated it and it was not her, and I didn't really like it either, but it was like what they wanted her image to be. And I think especially with songs like My Hair, Shut Up, I think it's so iconic. She is known for her hair, and that is a good song.
Oh, it is. I like listened to it and I was like, oh my God, wow, this is so like jazzy.
Yeah, right. And I think that's my favorite thing about her is that she is a vocalist that can pull off so many styles. She can sing Broadway, R&B, she can rap, pop, like she can do it all. And I think her album really shows that.
Yeah, and I feel like this time around, she doesn't really have anything to prove. So I feel like there's less pressure on her now when she's making music. And like you said, like usually when artists start out, like their labels try to like, pitch their own sound and stuff. And it takes them like a few years to actually develop like music that they want to make. So I think she's like reached that point in her career.
Exactly. And I think that's so cool. And like going off of that, personally, my favorite song on the album is POV. I think it is so beautiful. I love all of her slower songs that are kind of like ballad style because I think they really show off her range and her voice is so beautiful. But on top of that, I feel like in all of her albums, there's at least one song in that style, which I just love because I would say it sounds like the old her, but there's like
Yeah.
not even an old her. It's just as she's grown, she's always had that one, and kind of my hair too, kind of like old
Yeah.
school jazzy.
Hmm.
I love it.
Yeah, I love POV, and it kind of reminds me of like Dostin off Thank You Next.
Mhm.
And like you said, like I love like her ballads, like that one ballad that she has on her album, like that's so like raw and emotional.
Moonlight on Dangerous Woman. That is one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yes, yeah.
So in addition to songs, are there any like favorite lyrics you have or music videos?
Well, like I said, like my favorite songs on the album, like there's like actually a few. I really love Just Like Magic, Motive, Nasty. I feel like Nasty is so funny, but it's so good.
It's like
Um,
liberating almost,
yeah.
right?
And I love like the whole like White House theme she did with the Physicians music video where like she showed off like she can do all these different things. She
That
can like,
was so iconic. Like the
yeah.
timing of it. That
Yeah, right?
so if she wasn't making a statement, I don't know what she was doing. I just remember feeling like she is such a feminist and it's so inspiring. I know the first time I watched the video, I was noticing that everyone in her group, they were all like minorities, people of
Right.
color, and I
Yeah.
just thought that was so beautiful to see all this representation. And I
Hmm.
feel like she just really puts it out there what she stands for, what she's passionate about.
Right.
And that shows not just in her music, but in her art, like her videos and stuff.
Right. And that was like one of the first things I noticed too when I watched a video, and I thought it was like super cool. Like I didn't see one single white man.
Exactly.
I was like, this is what I like to see.
Literally. Okay, so going off of that, do you think there are any songs that like are skips in this album?
Um, I feel like maybe there are a few like I think or I'm gonna be honest, originally I my hair didn't stand out to me, but like when I listened to it like over and over again, I was like, oh wait, like this is a good song.
That's
But
so funny because that was one of the songs that stood out to me most
uh,
because of like the intro.
yeah.
I don't know. A lot of my friends said on this album they think every song sounds the same.
Hmm.
And I have to respectfully disagree. But I know when I first listened to it, I did not like Motive. Um,
Really?
yeah, unpopular opinion, I'm not that into Doja Cat.
Oh,
But
okay.
then after I listened to the album 30 more times, I was like, this is a bop. Doja Cat is
Yeah.
so good.
Right. And like it was like love at first listen for me. I like listened to it and I was like, this is so good.
Exactly. And then
Um,
I think 3435, that was like, that went number one or something. And
yeah,
that song
yeah.
blew up right away. And that song is liberating.
Oh, for sure. I feel like another song like that was kind of underwhelming was Off the Table because like that was with The Weeknd and I expected like,
Mhm.
you know, a lot from their collaboration. And
Yeah.
the last one that they did like went it was so big. Love Me Harder was so good. And I
I
feel like they could
love
have done more
it.
with that song.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I thought it was going to be a little more, kind of more upbeat. I wanted
Yeah.
it because The Weeknd has really good bops.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like the other features. I know there's Doja Cat, The Weeknd.
Oh, the song she did with Ty Dolla Sign.
Oh
Safety
yeah,
Net. Yeah.
Safety Net. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, those are actually her only features.
Yeah. I
The
think
three
she
of
has
them.
less features on this album than she usually does.
Yeah, I was just thinking that on a lot of them, she normally has a lot.
Right.
But I don't think she had a lot of features on Thank You Next. I don't think she had any at all now that I'm
Oh,
looking
really?
at it. Good for her. I like that she does a lot of features with the same artist.
Yeah, I
Like,
noticed that. Like
uh,
her and The Weeknd have always been like longtime collaborators, and like her and Nicki Minaj too. I feel like I
yeah.
love every song that they do together.
But like going off of that, I also really like in Obvious and in Shut Up, I feel like she was really vulnerable. And I don't know, it doesn't seem like surface level that vulnerable, but
Right. Yeah.
thinking she's really putting herself out there in this music. And I respect it. I think it's so beautiful. I love Obvious. I
Hmm.
just think it's the type of song that you want to like send to your boyfriend, you know?
She has like a lot of like sweet love songs, but also they kind of like evoke like some of her fears going into a new relationship. And like like you said, like she's very blunt about like what she's been through and like referring to like her past like trauma. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
really brave of her to do.
Yeah, I respect that so much, especially she lives such a public life. I mean,
Yeah.
her past relationships have been so, so public. So I think for her to acknowledge that and to kind of put out her side, even before this, like Thank You Next, that was such a power move. That
Yeah.
started like a
So
movement. I
good.
know personally, I was going through a breakup at that time, and that was my anthem.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's one of my favorite things about her music is that it just makes me feel so confident. I don't know if you agree.
No, no, I agree. It's like her sound, it's very like empowering and badass. But she's always like trying to create that vibe with her music and that you can like dance to, but you can also resonate with the lyrics and like feel what she's feeling.
And I feel like that's really hard for a lot of artists. They only have kind of one type of music where it's like
Mm,
high energy party music or
right.
like, you know, liberating feminist or like I am that girl,
Yeah.
boy, person, whoever. But I feel like she has her highs and lows in emotion, which I love. Like there are songs I want to cry to, and there are
Right.
songs I just want to dance to. And I think that's a great range.
And I feel like with like Sweetener and Thank You Next, like she wrote those albums after like really public events in her life. Like Sweetener was after like the Manchester shooting, and then Thank You Next was after like Mac Miller died. So that was like really like tragic things that she had to go through.
Yeah.
And I feel like with this album, she's had like enough time where she can like, process what she's been through and like heal from it. And also like the album being like right side up instead of upside down. I felt like that was like,
That was a
yeah,
movement.
yeah. I was like, this is like a new chapter for
I
her.
feel like especially I feel like it's a lot harder to catch on to these things if you're not like a diehard fan. Um, which I am. Ariana Grande has been like it for me since I was like 12. I just love her so much. So like that being said, as I know we've both listened to all of her albums ever, which one is your favorite? And if it's is it Positions?
I would have to say Dangerous Woman because that's been my favorite album since it came out. And
I
like, I don't know.
agree.
There's something about that album that's just so iconic.
I think for me, that album is so good because it shows off her range so well. I feel like a lot of her songs, her most famous songs, don't show off her range. Like,
Yeah.
for example, Thank You Next, it's
Right.
like very not up there.
Hmm.
But it's a bop, but it doesn't show off what she can do. But I think in Dangerous Woman, every single song
Every song.
is just so good. And it
Like,
has a very distinct style.
yeah, like songs that like come off the top of my head are like Into You. Like that was such a good song. And like Be All Right.
Yeah.
And
Have you
there's
ever seen her live?
no, I haven't, but I've been wanting to.
I went to the Sweetener World Tour and it was so much fun with my best friend. I literally have my ticket right in front of me because
Oh
I
my God.
just but Be All Right. I remember that was like the most high energy song of the whole
Yeah.
show. And that's what I love is that she's one of those few artists that when you see her live, she sounds better than
Yeah.
she does on recording, which
For
is
sure.
crazy.
I know. Like my sister actually went to the Sweetener tour. I saw her videos and I'm like, oh my God, like this looks so much fun and it's so high energy. And like I love the visuals that she did and her costumes and choreography. It was just amazing.
Yeah, which I love that about her. She really puts on a show. Even in her music videos and everything, like she gives everything into all of her performances. and they're so stylized. Her outfits are beautiful, her hair, beautiful, choreography,
Yeah.
beautiful. So then how do you think Positions ranks in all of her albums?
So I would say Dangerous Woman would be first, and then Thank You next, and then Positions, I feel like.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I would put Positions above Thank You next.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe like I
It's
have to
so
listen to
hard.
it more. It's hard. Yeah.
It is so hard. Everything is so good. I know that for the Daily Targum, I actually ranked all of her past albums, and I think I put Dangerous Woman and then Thank You next. I don't know. Thank You next is just so iconic.
It's so iconic.
It also has no skips.
Exactly.
Every song is so good, but I think Thank You Next, it doesn't lack anything, but doesn't have any of those like ballads really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Needy is the closest thing.
And Ghosted.
Yeah. I'm looking at
Yeah, no, I agree.
now.
I feel like there are a lot of like bops on there and like songs that you can like dance to and like party to. But yeah, Positions definitely has more like slower songs.
Yeah. I always just love when she puts out songs that are like Honeymoon Avenue,
Yeah, yeah.
Tattooed Heart. They're just so classic. I never get sick of songs like that.
No, I agree.
I think another big thing that I noticed was there's a lot less yeah in Position.
I didn't even notice that. Wait, I didn't even notice that. That's a
I don't
good
know
point.
if you remember when Thank You Next came out, it was like a meme where they would like, count all the time she would say yeah. Which like it was cute, but I feel like it had its moment and she's like transitioned out of that, which I really like. That she didn't just let it be like a meme.
Right. But I wonder if she like went into it like saying, okay, I'm not gonna say yeah on this album.
I would have been thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was like listening for it the first time I heard it. I think the other thing with Thank You Next is I feel like that album, not that it was rushed, but it came out really fast.
It did.
It was like right after Sweetener. She was literally in the middle of tour and she just was like putting out all these songs and just made an album. But I think with Positions, obviously a lot more time went into it. And a lot like it was a while.
Yeah.
It was over a year that she didn't release any music before this came out, right?
Right. And like I remember when like she was doing promo for Thank You Next, I was like, oh my god, like new music already? Like I'm still listening to Sweetener.
Like I was not complaining about it, but
no. Like she wrote that album in 6 months. It was crazy.
Yeah. That was she was literally on tour. I don't even know how she did that. But then like again, getting to see her on tour and getting to hear both albums, that
must have been amazing.
What would you rate the album? 1 to 5.
I would rate it like a 4.5.
So then since we both agree Dangerous Woman is our favorite, would we agree that's a 5?
Yeah.
5 out of 5. Right. Could not be better.
Right.
Then yeah, I would have to agree. 4.5. It is so up there.
This album is more of her sound, like her own sound than ever before. And she also, like, a lot of her lyrics, like, people around the world, especially during this time, can relate to. And I feel like it signifies, like, how much she's grown in her perspective and, like, her mental health. And also, like, there's plenty of songs to bop to, so why not?
Completely agree. I also think that this is the most authentic she's ever been. Like, to herself. Like, this is the real Ariana Grande.
Right.
And like you said, her songs, you just want to bop to. It just, at least for me, it makes me feel so good. I feel so confident, so empowered listening to her, especially videos like Position. I'm like, wow, I can really do anything.
I do like miss walking around campus, like blasting her music.
Right? And you're like strutting down the street.
Right.
Yeah, and not to mention, like we said, her album has a lot of high and low energy.
Right.
I feel like she has songs for every mood.
Mm-hmm.
Like personally, when I'm relaxing, like taking a bubble bath or something, REM is my go-to.
Yes. Oh my God.
I love
Yes.
that song. Or Off the Table.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like her voice is very soothing.
And that's what I also like loved about her voice. There are certain songs that her voice is just so serene, like you can just like close your eyes and listen to and
Yeah.
like, relax. I've always loved that. Well, that's all for today. Join us next time in Targum Tea for more reviews, and make sure to follow the Daily Targum on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for more content.